I think any large transformation is not for the faint of heart. We had some very distinct outcomes we were looking to achieve.
They gave us an interesting business challenge that they couldn't solve with today's systems.
It was a very volatile time, and I felt pressure to bring the company out of the bankruptcy. It was a scary moment. People's jobs were dependent on it. We had to do our best to make sure that the company came out strong. Our industry is a very upfront, capital-intensive process. The way that we used to do things wasn't the most efficient way that we could operate or run our business. We were growing so fast we didn't think about it, and we were not able to generate the amount of cash that was needed to reinvest into the size of the business that we had become.
One of the challenges with Phoenix was fragmented data, fragmented processes and systems that were built point in time as it came up. And so there was a lot of inconsistencies across the site. We were looking in the rearview mirror, sometimes up to a month and a half.
The equipment information, the data, the analytics was going into multiple systems that didn't speak to each other. It was clear that we needed to restructure the business, fix the issues that were known in a way that was sustainable for the future.
Phoenix Global is a leader in the metals mining service industry. We work with steel mills around the globe, handling the slag, metal recovery, and then any kind of heavy equipment. And so we maintenance that equipment, and then we provide all those services back to the steel mill. I was purposely brought in from outside of the steel industry to really lead the digital transformation of Phoenix Global. I've had the ability to lead several large-scale transformation across multiple industries, helping companies get faster, bringing innovation, new ERPs, new systems, new processes, and really a whole different way of thinking for the organization, because it's not just a technology implementation, it's truly a cultural shift and a process shift.
The purpose of bringing a CTO into the organization was meant to take Phoenix out of the dark ages and bring us into the future. Jeff has a vision for how the organization should run to be able to drive business performance.
A lot of organizations think 50-60% of our business is special. We do it different than everybody else. You might do it different than everybody else, but SAP best practice is better on about 90%. And so there is that 5 to 10% that makes you special or the secret sauce of your organization, but you have to really just put your process ego aside. These are tried and true processes that have happened in multiple companies, multiple industries around the world. And so that really takes the pressure off. The processes are already built, the systems are already built. You just have to tailor the data. And so having the SAP toolset, it ultimately just becomes a better service that's more efficient. The partner is probably the most important part of the whole entire transformation on the ERP side of things.
Consulting firms talk a very different language than operating companies. I help bridge that gap. Yeah, everybody classified these guys as a mill products company, but really the nuance with them is they're truly an industrial services organization providing a service to run these mill companies. Taking a look at the business allowed us to see that and treat them differently in the system and use some different best practices that we may not have typically used if we just focused on them as a mill products company. SAP Public Cloud, I think, is a perfect solution for these guys, especially companies that are looking for that solid digital backbone, a central spot where information is being stored, fed, and it's now driving business processes. They've gone from managing a bunch of spreadsheets to now managing a proper business system.
The steel industry is ripe for innovation. Using SAP Public Cloud, we've integrated our plants, we've integrated all of our equipment, moved from pencil and paper to tablets, to get real-time feedback from the operators. In our flagship plant that we've brought live, we have a new AI model that actually helps us optimize our fleet. So we have all this new data around maintenance, duty cycles. We have the trucks all integrated, all the telematics integrated into SAP. And I think that will revolutionize how the steel service industry is done, because frankly, we'll do it more efficient, more cost-effective, safer at 10x the rate of any of our competitors with the technology sets we've implemented.
It's life-changing in terms of the way that you manage a fleet that big across such a large geographical area. Our ability to see when we need to invest cash or invest capital into that fleet is more real-time and more accurate. And I can actually watch people driving our equipment in South Africa. None of this information was gathered at all before. We're using that now to change operator and driver behaviors, to coach them on their practices and what that means for the safety of themselves and the safety of those around them. The company is at a pretty exciting point where we've proven it out, and now we're going to start spreading it out and preaching the gospel to the rest of the company to show them how it can change the way that they can run their business.